Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We will formally begin this hearing for today, February the 13th, 2024. Everyone other than the board itself and the law department has been muted so that we could eliminate any background noise that may exist as we proceed. Several preliminary matters. Ask everyone to understand that this is a formal hearing, and so when your case is called, we expect you to be present, not to be reclining in your bed or engaged in any other activity, and to be sitting up and to be dressed appropriately for court. You should proceed as if you are in the courthouse itself. That's the general expectation we would have of everyone. We would also ask that you pay close attention as your address and or case number is called. It may be noted as mute or moot complied. That means it is resolved for today. And so if you want additional information as to what that means, please call the office. The administrator would be happy to share that information and explain it to you. Please do not interrupt another case to get asked for that explanation. It just creates too much disruption. We have a very long list, and we want to be able to give everyone an opportunity to be heard today. Also, if you're in your vehicle, you must be parked in a safe place. We will not hear your case if you're driving. It's unsafe to do that. And also, connectivity is difficult to maintain when you're driving in these hearings. Thank you. We'd ask, of course, that you would control any background noise or the family members or pets or whatever that you may have in your space. We will now hear from the board. It will introduce itself as well as our other panelists, after which the law department will share with us the list of cases that have been resolved, either through a continuous request or otherwise negotiated settlement. Thank you very much. I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair.
Ralph Pincus, board member.
Steve Pettit, board member.
Roger S. Tennant Sr., board member.
Beverly Penn, board member.
Lynn Washington, board member.
Ryan
Thank you very
McSherry, board counsel.
Richard Wade, board administrator.
Thank you very much. Okay, who are we going to hear from the law department?
Good afternoon, board members. This is Michael Rullo, R-U-L-L-O, on behalf of the city. I'll be taking care of that moot list.
Okay. Please proceed.
Beginning with number 1, appeal ending 251 concerning 2544 Jasper Street. The appellant is a Zadi Bunchun. That can be marked moot.
Moot, thank you.
Moving to number 2, appeal ending, pardon, just 1 second. I need to zoom in on my document here. Again, that's appeal number 2, appeal ending 395 concerning 1600 West Girard Avenue, 1600 West Girard Avenue ground owner LLC. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Number 3, appeal ending 026 concerning 1731 Washington Avenue, appellant 1702 Alter Street LP. That has a city affirmed by agreement with a $1,000 fine.
By agreement, thank
Correct.
you.
Moving to number 4, appeal ending 028, 419 Passmore Street. Appellant is a Guerlin Pierre. That can be marked moot complied.
Just 1 moment. That's number 4, correct?
That's number 4, correct.
All right, moot complied, thank you.
Number 5, appeal ending 153, 2033 Lombard Street. Moderna A. Rittenhouse Homeowners at Rittenhouse Homeowners Association is the appellant. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
And there's a second appeal for that's under that same appellant. Number 6, appeal ending 155 concerning 2043 Lombard Street. That can also be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Next is number 7, appeal ending 237, 6102 Reedland Street, appellant Trina Clark. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Next is I'm just going to confirm that there's the continuance request has been granted on numbers 11 and 12. Those are appeals ending 146 and 147, both concerning 3220 Winter Street with an appellant of Sandra Gibson.
Yes, executive session. We did consider that appeal request, and 60 days would be the appeal, the continuance notice.
And then I skipped over it, but for number 8, appeal ending 076, 237 South 48th Street, appellant Philip Pulley. The appellant's attorneys had requested a continuance for a trial conflict. The city ultimately had to join in that request because its witness is unavailable today. Has that continuance request been granted?
That also was granted with the requirement that it must be tried in next appearance.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
Moving to number 15, appeal ending 612, 10169 Northeast Boulevard, Mr. Truck Stop LLC. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Number 16, appeal ending 640, 6903 East Roosevelt Boulevard, appellant Dio G. Wallace. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Number 17, appeal ending 649, 1830 Fulmer Street, appellant Kelly Schock. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Number 18, appeal ending 660, 5300 East Roosevelt Boulevard, appellant Zoran Borleja. My understanding is that there was an appellant continuance request. Was that granted?
Yes, there was a continuance request. You wanted to hear from the city. Did you have any objection?
So in that case, I will leave it to the attorney who's on that case. I believe that's Mr. Begelman.
Yes, no, the city has no objection to that continuance request.
Okay, so we will continue that matter. And I also understand that there may be a need for a Serbian interpreter if it's scheduled for hearing.
Yes, a representative for the appellant said that he only speaks Serbian. I think she said she was going to translate, but if there is a way to have a Serbian interpreter, that would probably be better than having her do it. So
Yeah, the rules require that we have an
right.
official professional interpreter. So the
Right,
administrator
they did not
will-
make that official request, but it seems like we do need one for next.
Yes.
next thing. Yep.
Yeah, let's do that, because if the family member, we will not permit that person to interpret during the hearing.
Yeah, and I will let
Okay.
the board know if that gets resolved in the meantime, so we don't have to have someone come for no reason, but I'll keep.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving to number,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I may, on cases number 11 and 12, which we just had a request for a continuance on, I just want to note for the record that there appears to be someone on the screen whose name is the same as the appellant, Sandra Gibson, who in her, as I recall, request for a continuance indicated inability to be available at the hours of our hearing. So, I mean, I understand, I think there's an issue of the city's availability for this, or they're trying to resolve the matter, but it appears that the appellant has the ability to attend the hearing.
Well, let's see. Can we confirm that's in fact the same person that who submitted the request? I don't see the image of the individual.
I don't see an image, I see a name.
The image was there earlier, now it's gone.
Yes,
I'm here.
Okay, madam, your name, please, and your address.
My name is Sandra Gibson, 3220 Winter Street.
Okay. Now, in your
And-
appeal request, just a moment, in your appeal request, you indicated that you were not available during the hearing times. What's changed?
Well, nothing has changed, but my work, in order to be here, I had to request to take off from work. And for 2 weeks, my pay is docked. When I appealed that, when I, wrote to you, I was trying to avoid my pay being docked for 2 weeks. I mean,
Okay.
those are their rules. So.
Okay. Well,
I
what we've done, we've
Yeah.
granted your request for a continuance, but only for 60 days, not for 6
Yeah.
months. And you will, well, let me finish. You will need to make changes in your schedule to be present, or hire an attorney to represent you.
I see.
Are the properties owned in your name?
Yes.
Anyone else's name on the deeds?
No.
Okay, all right, so 60 days, and you will need to be present. No one else can represent you other than an attorney.
Okay, what appeal is that? The number?
Is it?
Mr. Wade, would you just announce those two again, please? Number 11 and 12, I believe it is.
Oh, it's two appeals. Okay.
Hearing appeal ending, hearing appeal HA 2023-000-146, 3220 Winter Street, Sandra Gibson. And 12, hearing appeal 2023-000-147, 3200 Winter Street, Sandra Gibson.
Okay,
3220,
Yes.
3220, Mr. Wade.
We were given this 60 days?
yes.
Okay.
So the record will reflect that it's 3220 Winter Street. Okay, let's move on to the next matter. Mr. Rulo.
Yes, next would be number 19, appeal ending 677, 316 South Street, appellant Qinhong Zhang. My understanding is that that was withdrawn by the appellant and that that document was communicated to the board already.
Okay, can you confirm that, Mr. Wade?
Yes. We
Okay,
have it.
thank you. We noted as withdrawn.
Moving to number 20, appeal ending 694, 3630 North 16th Street. Appellant is an Ashley Daniels. There's an agreement, a city affirmed by agreement with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
The agreement's 90-day stay of enforcement. Okay, thank you.
Moving to number 21, appeal ending 695, 2222 Yellen Street. Appellant Michael A. I think it's Balknight. That was a city affirmed by agreement with a $200 fine.
City affirmed by agreement. Okay, thank you.
Moving to number 22, appeal ending 696, 5731 Woodcrest Avenue, appellant Julie Stewart. The city and the appellant were communicating with the board earlier about this. I did have a chance to finally speak with Ms. Stewart. She is in Spain and does not have access to her materials. After speaking with her, I did understand why she thought that this was hearing was not continuing today. So with that, the city would not oppose a continuance request in that matter.
Okay, we will note it as continued.
Moving to number 23, appeal ending 699 concerning 2030 East Tioga Street. Appellant is a Silverstone Estate Holdings. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
1 second. Moving to number 25, appeal ending 703, also concerning 2030 East Tioga Street, also concerning Silverstone Estate Holdings. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you. And what about 24? Is that one still live for today?
I've just asked the attorney about that one. That one is still active. So the
Okay.
numbers 23 and 25 are moot complied, but number 24 is still active.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to it. We have a question about that, but let's move through the list.
Number 26, appeal ending 718, 106 East Porter Street, appellant Shondell Butler, that is moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to number 29, appeal ending 751, 4258 North 16th Street, appellant Shulanda Ramsey, that can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to number 30, appeal ending 768, 1636 Spruce Street, David Bucchetto, Lentz Gavin. I believe those are the two appellants. It's a bit unclear on our list, but that can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 31, appeal ending 772 concerning 333 South 21st Street. Appellant is 333, excuse me, South 21st Street LLC. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to number 33, appeal ending 788 concerning 324 North 63rd Street, Boxwood Estates LLC. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 34, appeal ending 790, 817 Christian Street, appellant Jeff Benjamin. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to number 37, appeal ending 827, 109 Renard Terrace. Appellant Stephanie Lynn, that can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied.
Number 38, appeal ending 876, concerning 228 North 63rd Street. Appellant is a BSD Way 5 LLC, can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 39, appeal ending 877 concerning 1148 South 13th Street. Appellant is a JB Plumbing and Heating. That is moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 40, appeal ending 991 concerning 6822 Oakland Street. Appellant is a Juan Tang. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
And then if I may return to number 36, appeal ending 826, 1919 West Hunting Park Avenue. The appellant is a Bediza Cadillo. I believe that there's a Spanish interpreter on that one.
Yes, there should be. Ms. Wade is the interpreter present.
They're
Okay.
here.
Do you have something to announce regarding that matter, Mr. Rulo?
Yes, I do.
Okay, would the interpreter please identify himself or herself?
This is the interpreter speaking.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm to faithfully translate the proceedings for today's session from Spanish to English and English to Spanish?
I do.
Okay, thank you. What I'd like you to do, as we call this matter, interpret everything that's said in English from this point forward. And if the appellant responds in Spanish, I'd like you to be the English speaker for that appellant. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Mr. Rulo, of course, we need to just be extra patient as the interpreter will need time to interpret and make our statements as short as possible. Thank you. So if you start from the beginning, Mr. Rulo, on this matter.
Mr. Chairman, before we proceed, perhaps we should get the name of the interpreter on the record as well.
Oh, yes. Interpreter, please give us your full name and spell your last name.
Yes, my name is Stephen and my last name is Aubain, Aubain.
Thank you. Mr. Rulo, please proceed.
As an initial matter, I believe the appellant was making some waiving motions.
Okay,
Así
but-
que el apelante, go ahead.
Mr. Rulo, just proceed and then we'll hear from the appellant later if we need to.
Okay, I'm just going to call the case again so it's translated. This is concerning number 36, appeal ending 826, concerning 1919 West Huntington Park, appellant Bediza Cadillo.
I'm sorry, I apologize that you assume.
One moment.
Please do not speak. We have an interpreter who's speaking so you can hear it in Spanish. And we will, at the later date, we'll hear from you. Understood? Okay? Let the interpreter proceed.
Así que este es el caso, este número 36, que es el terminando en 826 y es en la calle 1919 West Huntington Park. And this is the interpreter speaking. I'm sorry, what's the name of the appellant?
Looks like Bediza Cadillo.
Y este es para el caso de Bediza Cadillo.
Yeah, 1919 something.
Okay, someone's
got it,
needs to
I
be
got it.
muted.
I got
Okay.
it.
Okay, Mr. Rulo, continue.
In this matter, the city needs a continuance so that a reinspection can occur.
Y en este caso, la ciudad necesita continuarlo en otra fecha para que puedan hacer una reinspección.
¿Puedo hablar?
Not yet, not yet.
Todavía no.
Anything else, Mr. Rulo?
No, at this time, we're requesting that because this case does require a continuance to determine status.
Interpreter?
Así que este caso va a requerir continuarlo en otra fecha porque necesitan hacer una reinspección.
Ms. Bediza Cadillo, now, did you understand the request and what is your response to the request for continuance?
Yes.
Así que, señora, usted entiende la respuesta y cómo usted responde a ese pedido de continuarlo.
Mr. Chairman, before Ms. Cadillo answers,
Interpreter?
Y antes de que contesten, go ahead.
I believe Ms. Cadillo is an expediter and not the owner of the property that is the subject of the violation notice. And we need to confirm. We need to confirm who the owner is.
Interpreter?
Y así que antes de seguir, parece que la señora Cadillo es la expediente, pero no es la dueña de esta propiedad. Y tenemos que primeramente confirmar quién es el dueño de la propiedad.
Ms. Baditza Cadillo, are you the owner of this property?
Señor Badisa Cadillo, ¿usted es la dueña de esta propiedad?
I'm the expediter and I speak English, Your Honor, Your Board Chair. I don't need a translator. And
Interpreter?
So, and there's the interpreter speaking. Would you like me to continue
Yes,
translating in
everything
Spanish?
is said in English. I want you to interpret in Spanish.
Así que yo soy Belisa Cadillo y yo soy la expediente y yo hablo inglés y no necesito un traductor.
Now, Ms. Baditza, we've had this discussion before. You are not permitted to represent a client. And so your name should not be on these applications.
Así que nosotros habíamos discutido esto anteriormente, que usted no puede representar un cliente y su nombre no debería estar en estas solicitudes.
So who is the owner in the appellant?
Así que ¿quién es el dueño del apelante?
I need a name.
Y necesito el nombre.
Camera on the second floor window.
Walida MacArthur.
Y Alida MacArthur.
And ma'am, do you require a Spanish interpreter?
No,
Did you
No.
request a Spanish interpreter?
no, we never did. I speak English.
Okay, my apologies. We received notice that someone needed a Spanish interpreter for this case.
No.
Okay. Okay. What is your response to the city's request for a continuance?
I was because I'm unaware of the violations because.
No, you answered me you're not answering my question. Well, let me start a different question. Is your name on the deed to this property?
Yes.
Anybody else's name on the deed?
Yes.
Who else is on the deed?
My brother-in-law and my daughter.
Okay, you need an attorney to represent. This is Mrs. Rulo, do they need an attorney to represent them in this matter? If she's one of several owners, what do we do?
I would say, I think that's a question that Mr. McSherry would have to answer. I believe in the past, we've allowed if one owner to proceed, but I think that's something where Mr. McSherry would have to advise the board on that.
Okay, let's do this. Ma'am, do any of the other owners require a Spanish interpreter?
No.
Okay, are you okay with continuing this matter?
Yes.
Okay, I would ask, who is the attorney on Mr. Rulo representing the city in this matter?
It is me.
Okay, would you mind putting your contact information in the chat so that she could contact you?
I will do so.
Yeah, ma'am, contact the attorney and talk to him about this whole process. So in fact, that may resolve some of your issue before you come back, okay? But we will note it as continued.
Just to confirm, am I bringing a Spanish interpreter back?
Based on what's being put on the record today, no.
Okay.
Now, if we find out that an interpreter is required, that may be grounds for dismissing this matter because we heard from you today that you don't need it.
Don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Just before we move on, do we need to put the owner's name on record since Ms. Cadillo is the one who submitted the paperwork?
Yes, we will do that.
New paperwork?
We'll put the owner's name on the record before we sign off from this. We absolutely. Mr. Pincus?
If there's going to be further discussion between the appellant and Mr. Rulo, there was an issue pointed out to us regarding the timeliness of this appeal. And
Yes.
perhaps that can be resolved by Mr. Rulo in those conversations as well.
Okay.
Or addressed if not resolved.
Okay. Ma'am, would give us your full name and spell your last name as the owner and appellant?
Walida MacArthur, WALIDAH, last name MCARTHUR.
Okay. Ms. Clark, did you get that? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. We have another concern about your timeliness of your appeal. So, Mr. Rulo, would you mind having that conversation as well?
I don't want to be pointed.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You get 30 days from the date of the appeal date of the decision. My apology. The date of the violation notice to submit an appeal. This one was very late. based on our record. So you need to have that conversation with Cerulo when you connect with him. Okay.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
All right. So let's move on.
I believe if many of my colleagues have other things to address, but that is completes my reading of the list.
Okay. Anyone else have anything? Please raise your hand. At the moment, I don't see any raised hands. Oh, yes, Mr. Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very briefly, appeal number 27 and on the list ending
Yes.
in 00732, appellant Marcia Gilchrist. Ms. Gilchrist submitted a withdrawal of her appeal to board administration. I wanted to make sure that that got accepted.
Yes, that was noted in the executive session.
Beautiful. And then the same goes for number 28 on the list ending in 733, same appellant, Ms. Gilchrist.
That's also noted as a withdrawn.
Fantastic. Then I have two matters that I'm going to be requesting continuances on.
Okay.
One is appeal number 13 on the list, appeal ending in 00175, appellant Angelique Hunter, doing business as I Hate 2428 to 30 North Park Avenue LLC.
Okay. Now
Uh,
that was continued once before in December.
Yes, so I just spoke with counsel that was, my understanding is retained just now, Sean Whalen,
Okay.
in this matter. And after speaking with him, we were both in agreement that a reinspection was necessary because of concerns that the wrong code section might have been cited. And so
Okay.
he has offered up his client to meet the inspector at the premises. And we plan on having a reinspection within the next week or so.
Okay. All right. Now we will need this on a must be tried status because we want to move forward. Multiple appeals
Absolutely.
aren't healthy to continue to do this over and over again. Okay.
I appreciate the point very much, Mr. Chairman, and we'll make sure that this is resolved before then, or we're ready to go at the next hearing if not.
Okay. And you had another one?
Yes, well, so is Miss Mays, is anyone here for 1513 Spring Garden Street?
What number is that?
I'm sorry.
Yes, that's me.
Number 9 on the list, appeal ending in 077, address 1513 Spring Garden Street.
Okay.
Yes,
Who's here for that?
that would be me. I'm Diane Guzman. I'm the owner.
Yeah, Diane Guzman. Okay. Good afternoon, Miss Guzman. We spoke yesterday.
Yes.
So this matter, it involves a notice of intent to cease operation. Oh, it appears that Miss Guzman, I see you're in a car. Are you driving? If you need, I
I'm
can.
stopped.
Okay.
No, I'm stopped. I pulled over.
Okay. So this matter involves the building at 1513 Spring Garden Street. There is a beauty salon on the first floor and then apartments on the second and third floor. The city of Philadelphia issued a notice of intent to cease operations for the 2 apartment buildings above, not for the salon on the first floor. The appellant here, Sharon Mays, she is the tenant that operates the salon. I spoke with her yesterday and told her that the salon was not at risk of being ceased. And so I don't think she appeared here today since she didn't have a direct interest with the salon not at risk. However, now the owner of the building is here, even though she did not submit the appeal. After speaking with the owner of the property yesterday, I do have some, I do want to review the situation a little more before the city would go forward with the cease operations. So the standing issue makes it a little bit complicated. But I wanted to put that before the board and tell the board that I would not oppose a short continuance so that I can speak with the inspector about the complicated zoning history at this property and hopefully resolve this
Okay.
before the next hearing.
Mr. Fernandez, we will note your request and we'll continue the matter. As you fully know, though, there may be a need for a new appeal so that the names all match up. If the original appellant is not going to proceed with the noted appeal.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
original appellant did not tell me that she was withdrawing the appeal or anything. In fact, she suggested to me that the owner would appear for her.
But that won't
appeal.
work. And well, as you
And-
know, that
yeah.
can't work. You can't just substitute people that way.
Of course, no, I completely understand, and I told her as much, but I think that was both her and the owner of the building. I'm sorry, I forgot your last name.
Guzman.
Hello?
Ms.
Hey,
Guzman.
this is Inspector Alicio. We spoke this morning.
Sir, please do not speak out.
I'm
You're
just
not
calling
being
to see
called
what
on.
I
No,
haven't
no,
got
no,
any-
no. No, sir, please. If you, as an inspector, you'll be called upon if we need you. But in the meantime, we're in the middle of discussing a matter, so please don't interrupt. Okay, Mr. Fernandez, we'll note your request for
And
continuance.
I realize.
Mr. Fernandez, maybe you, the inspector, and Ms., I guess Guzman should go into a breakout room?
I think I appreciate the suggestion. I think Ms. Guzman has given me the documentation I need to review. I just need to I got it, yesterday afternoon, and I need to kind of review it in more detail.
Fine.
But we're all in touch, and I appreciate that, Mr. Pincus. I do have to correct one thing. I realize I gave Inspector Alicio the wrong impression. I read the wrong appellant. This is appeal number 9 with appellant Sharon Mays. I think I might have said Angelique Hunter earlier. That is a different property.
No, you
This-
said Sharon Mays. We
Okay,
heard
thank
Mays.
you. Okay, good.
Okay, so
Ms.
thank you very much. Ms. Guzman, there won't be any further need for your participation today. Please
Okay.
contact Mr. Fernandez and see what we can do to resolve this.
Okay,
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Fernandez?
No, that concludes my business for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Christopher Johnson.
Good afternoon, board. I, as a preliminary matter related to number 14 on the list, Alan Maisha, HA 2023-000248, regarding the property at 2723 Judson Street. I'm just gonna ask, has anyone appeared on that case?
Well, we haven't called it yet, so we don't know. This is your matter?
Yes.
Okay, we haven't called it yet. Is there something preliminarily that we need to do before we call it as part of our regular order?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Alrighty. I have someone, Miss Jean Pereira Guerin. I'm not sure.
Her case was moot compliant. I reached out and I have someone from the office reach out to her.
Okay,
I
she has a
just-
hand. Unmute her for a
I
moment.
just responded to her chat too, Mr. Chairman. to
Oh, you
let her
did?
know. Yes, I just
Okay.
responded to her chat.
Okay, ma'am, your matter has been resolved. So if you need information that people have been trying to reach out to you, so there's nothing for you to say on the record, okay?
Okay,
All right, thank you.
you're
All right.
welcome.
Anyone else have anything?
And this is the interpreter speaking. Is there another matter that requires interpretation?
Let me check with the administrator, Mr.
No,
Wade.
there's not. No, there's
Okay.
not. Thank you.
I'll say, sir, you excuse. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, the board raises several matters in executive session that I just need a response to. The first one is number 32, HA 2023-000778, 7405 Stenton Avenue, Crystal Brown doing business as Lou Center LP. Who's representing the city? Who's representing the city in term at 7405 Stenton Avenue?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. That is my case.
Okay. Is anyone present representing Crystal Brown doing business as LU Center LP? The issue here, Mr. Fernandez, is legal counsel. Apparently, this is a limited partnership.
Yes, but am I understanding correctly that the appellant hasn't appeared?
Well, no one responded just now, so that's why I wanted to put that question to her. Now, what we will do, if no one's presently there, we'll call this in regular order and we'll make a decision. But I just wanted to.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I do see that the violation here was issued to an LP. I know that there was just an inspection performed yesterday.
Okay.
Coordinated between the inspector and the appellant. most of the violations were marked complied as a result of that inspection. Some remain. So I would ask that this be called in the regular order and the appeal dismissed if they are not here at the time that it's called.
Okay, all right, thank you. I just want to check my list here to see if there's anything else that may have been missed. Number 24. This is 2030 East Tioga Avenue, which is Silverstone Estates Holdings.
Yes.
That matter is proceeding. Is that going forward today? The other two matters were, one was moved, the other two were moved complied.
Yes, so very quickly, this involves a situation where 2 notices of violations were issued, and at the same time, an SVN was issued. So the 2 notices of violation have since been cured. They've been marked complied. However, the SVN, because it functions as a snapshot in time at the moment that the conditions are observed, that remains in place, and the fine would be assessed unless the board overturns the issuance of the SVN. So that's why 2 of the 3 matters were marked complied. Those were notices of violations that have been complied. The one that remains is an SVN that, doesn't get complied upon reinspection.
Okay,
So-
and so the matter though is that this is an LLC that requires legal counsel. Do you know if counsel has been retained and present?
Not to my knowledge, I haven't been contacted by anyone. I emailed a copy of the evidence packet to the email address on record. And I don't believe that I received anything back. I will double check that now.
Okay,
Yeah.
if no one's present at the moment, we'll call in regular order and deal with it at that time.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yes, and I can confirm I emailed the evidence packet on Friday and I haven't gotten any response, and there's no indication that counsel has been retained.
Okay, thank you. So I don't see any additional hands raised from anyone at the law department. So Mr. Wade, let us move to the list itself and call our first case.
First case is case 10, hearing appeal ending 0115, 1121 North Street, Reginald Getter.
Okay, who's representing the city? Who's representing the city?
It
I
is
believe-
Sean Logue, but he appears to be speaking and can't be heard right now.
Okay, is he muted or just having connectivity issues?
Appears he is having connectivity issues at the moment. Maybe we
Okay, let's skip that and move on to the next one and come back to him. Mr. Rulo, can you connect with him and let him know we can't hear him?
I will endeavor to do so.
Okay, he's put something in the chat, so we'll move on to the next matter and come back. Okay, Mr. Wade, what do we do next?
Case 14, hearing appeal ending 0248, 2723 Judson Street, Misha Allen.
Okay.
This
Who's
is
representing the
Christopher
city?
Johnson for the city of Philadelphia.
Mr. Johnson, good afternoon. Do you have any witnesses today, Mr. Johnson?
The city has one inspector who's prepared to testify. It's Inspector Lawrence L. Smith. I
Okay,
don't believe anyone has appeared on this appeal.
okay. Let's do this. Let's unmute Inspector Smith and we'll swear her in, then we'll proceed, okay? Ms. Smith, would you unmute yourself, please? Hasn't happened yet. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you give in this matter be the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can place your hand down. Who's here representing 2723 Judson Street? Misha Allen. Anyone present? Anyone present?
And it may be Alan Maisha.
Alan Maisha, 2723 Judson Street. Anyone present? Okay, Mr. Wade, was service made?
Service was made, this was continued from December from December 19th for access to be granted to the inspector. They were present on the 19th and service was made for today's date.
Okay, thank you. Time did you have, Mr. Pincus?
1:38 PM.
1:38 PM. Mr. Johnson, what's your preference?
The city requests that the board mark the appeal as city affirmed failure to appear.
Thank you. We will poll the board on HA 2023-000248-2723 Judson Street. Maisha Allen, that's Myesha, last name Allen, Allan, city
Mr.
affirmed
Chairman,
non-appearance.
Mr. Chairman, I think.
Yes, sir.
it's- Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's on the list. It's incorrect. You're correct. It signed Myesha Allen. You're correct. I
Okay.
apologize.
Okay. They just need to vote to continue?
Yes. My vote is city affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Wade, are we going back to 10 or should we go down to another matter?
And just to be clear, can Inspector Smith be released for the day?
Yes, Inspector, your excuse.
Thank you.
I don't see Mr. Logue back on yet, so we can call case 24.
24, okay.
Case 24, hearing appeal ending 0702, 2030 East Tioga Street, Silverstone Estate Holdings.
Okay, Mr. Fernandez?
Good
This is your
afternoon,
matter?
members of the board. Yes, it is.
Okay, anyone present representing Silverstone Estates Holdings? Silverstone Estate Holdings, 2030 East Tioga Street. Okay, Mr. Wade, was there service?
Service was made.
Okay, time, Mr. Pincus?
1:40 PM.
Mr. Fernandez, your preference.
Hearing no response, I ask that this appeal be dismissed for failure to appear.
Thank you. We'll poll the board on HA 2023-000702-2030 East Tioga Street, Silverstone Estate Holdings, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. That matters disposed of. Okay, Mr. Wade.
Mr. Logue has rejoined, so
Okay, let's go back to 10.
case number 10, hearing appeal ending 0115, 1121 North Street, Reginald Getter.
Okay, the city's representation. Mr. Logue, we can't hear you. Okay.
Check your
Mr. Wade is-
settings, Mr. Logue. Maybe one of your settings is not released.
Okay, Mr. Wade, is anyone who can work with him to try to get him audible?
Sure. We'll get somebody to go on.
Okay, Mrs. Logue, somebody will call you to see what we can do to help you get connected. Okay, let's move on to the next matter.
Case 32, hearing appeal ending 0778, 7405 Stenton Avenue, Crystal Brown, doing business as LU Center LP.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Will Fernandez on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Afternoon, Mr. Fernandez. Who's representing the interests of Crystal Brown doing business as LU Center at 7405 Stenton Avenue? Anyone present? Okay. There's someone, Samsung, who's talking. I'm not sure who this person is, Mr. Wade.
Give me 1 second.
The person is muted, so I'm not
Can
sure.
you hear me now? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Your name, please?
Crystal Brown.
Oh, so you're Crystal Brown. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Miss Brown, are you the owner of this property?
No, I'm not. I'm a tenant.
Oh, you're a tenant in your resident. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is your you have a lease?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Mr. Fernandez, are you comfortable with proceeding?
Well, so the cited party here is Lou Center LP. And
Okay.
so I think we still do have an issue around
Standing.
Miss Brown, yes, Miss Brown not having representation.
Okay. Miss Brown, the appellant here is the owner of the building, I suppose. Crystal Brown. Wait a minute. Ma'am, I'm a little confused. Are you
Mhm.
appealing on your name or in your company's name?
I was appealing and because it came out on 7405 Sinton Avenue. So when I went to do the appeal, it would be in Gilbin's Bakery, LLC.
Yeah,
I didn't never put Lou Center down here.
Okay, so this is a commercial property?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you are a tenant in the building?
Yes.
And the tenancy is between your company and the owner of the property?
No, it's just he owns the property and I rent the space.
Yeah, I'm
for
asking
him.
who is the name on the lease? Is it your personal name or your company's name?
It's my company's name.
Okay,
Mhm.
so you need a lawyer to represent your interest in this hearing.
Yeah, Ms. Brown, are you an owner of Lou Center LP?
No, I'm not.
Okay, yeah, so I think that's where the confusion stems from. We cited Lou Center LP, which I understand that's the owner of the property.
Yes.
Okay, and then it looks like, at least according to Eclipse, I'll pull the application document now. It looks like the appellant here is Crystal Brown doing business as Lou Center LP.
It's
which-
not. No,
Okay,
it should
that's
not
what-
be.
Okay,
I'm not doing
Okay.
business at corporation. It's Crystal Brown doing it should be Crystal Brown doing business as Gilbin's Bakery LLC.
yeah, I will say the appellant on the actual appeal form, I'm looking at it right now, is just listed as Crystal Brown.
Okay, well, okay, me. Mhm.
Okay, in this instance, given that Crystal Brown is in fact a corporate entity, at least the person the entity that signed the lease with the owner of the building is a corporation or LLC, I believe, according to her testimony. So how do you want to proceed?
So I would defer to the board council's determination here. But from my perspective, the appellant here is an individual. I think that they have standing as an individual since they, as a tenant, are potentially aggrieved by a cease operations order. And so I would be comfortable going forward today. But
Okay,
again,
but let
I
me
would-
pose this. Her role and her residency in that building is as a LLC though.
Yes, I do understand that. However, here that LLC wasn't cited. The building owner was cited.
Okay.
And so, from my perspective as a representative of the city, I don't think we have we don't have a preference between Ms. Brown pursuing this appeal as an individual that, who believes that she is aggrieved by this notice of violation and, versus her appealing as a corporate entity that is potentially aggrieved.
Okay, Mr. McSherry, what is your advice in terms of standing for Ms. Brown?
So I would say that Ms. Brown's company, the LLC, has standing. However, Ms. Brown cannot represent the interests of her company as it is an LLC, and she is not an attorney.
Okay, so let's do this. It has to
Chair,
cease.
Mr. Chair, before we go
Yes.
further, just a real quick question.
Yes, sir.
On the intent to cease operation, it's 7401 to 23 Stenton Avenue. And it states you must obtain a food license for 3 locations: the Smokehouse, Creations, and Bakery. Is those 3 separate operations? And if so, do she have control over all 3?
Ms. Brown?
Yes, create 7405 Sinton Avenue. It has its food license, and 7409 has its food license, and 7407. But 7407 is not in operation anymore.
But the question was, do you have control of those various
Yes, sir, I do. Yes.
Okay.
I-
All right,
I-
let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Given Mr. Fernandez, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and sorry to interrupt. I wanted to, this might be simpler to resolve than we think.
Okay.
Because Inspector Anthony Williams, who is here today, he inspected the premises yesterday, and 5 of the 8 violations are now complied, including the use registration violation, the food license violation. The only violations that remain are involving the maintenance and certification of the fire system at the premises. So I wanted to ask Inspector Williams, is a cease operations still potentially going forward here based on those violations? Or are those now going to be on the regular enforcement track?
No, the cease operation, the enforcement action has been closed because the food license.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so then, given that there's no cease operations, I'm sorry, I didn't realize this earlier, but I would now take the position that Ms. Brown doesn't have standing as a tenant. However, given what Mr. McSherry said earlier, I think unless the board wants to make a decision on those grounds, I would ask for this to be continued, so Ms. Brown can either withdraw her appeal or hire counsel or take whatever steps she wants to take. However, I will now represent to Ms. Brown, as Inspector Williams just said, there's not going to be a cease operations anymore. The only violations that remain are now fire code violations that the owner is responsible for addressing, and they're going to go on the normal enforcement track that ends in a lawsuit filed against the owner if the violations aren't corrected.
Okay, well, let's note for the record, then we will note that it's continued. And that, thank you for your advice and your participation. Ms. Brown, just given that you're a business owner, please seek the advice of competent counsel who can help you with this. It'll make life a lot easier.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day. This
Thank
matter is
you.
discontinued.
Bye-bye.
We could try number 10 again.
Okay.
Good afternoon, board members. Sean Lowe for the city. Sorry for
Good
the
afternoon,
difficulty.
sir. Okay. All right. We'll call it in and we'll give you a chance to release all that
Recall.
pent up anxiety.
Thanks.
We're going to recall case 10, hearing appeal ending 0115-1121 North Street, Reginald Getter.
Okay. Good afternoon. Representing the city.
Good afternoon, board members. Sean Lowe for the city.
Good afternoon, Mr. Logue. Sean Getter. I'm sorry, Reginald Getter. Reginald Getter, Getter. Is that person available? If you mute it, raise your hand or do something so that we can. Okay, I see an individual, Samsung SM. So, Mr. Wade, if you could unmute that person. Okay, Mr. Getter, if you announce yourself.
Yes. My
Your
name is
name?
My name is Reginald Jeter, 1121 North Street.
Okay, Reginald Jeter. Sorry about that. Would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give with the truth so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Sir, it appears that you're in a vehicle. Are you parked in a safe place?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Mr. Logue, do you have any witnesses today?
Yes, I do. I have one witness, Inspector Martin Higgins, who I believe is on the call.
Okay. Mr. Higgins?
Yes.
Okay, raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Now I would ask all gentlemen who want you to appear, please remove your hats as if you were in the building, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, what we will do, Mr. Logue, you will of course begin by putting on your case. Mr. Getter, we will, after that, you have an opportunity to cross-examine any witnesses that are brought forward, after which you can put your case on and we will hear from you before we vote. Understood?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, let us proceed.
Good afternoon, Inspector Higgins. What is your job with the city?
Code administrator for the Department of License and Inspections assigned to the CLIP program.
How long have you been working for the department?
Over 20 years.
And what are your responsibilities in your current role?
I appear on behalf of the CLIP program for court proceedings as well as testimony with the board and perform a routine inspection log.
Are you familiar with the property at 1121 North Street?
Just as the custodian of records.
Gotcha. So you didn't inspect it yourself, right?
No, I did not.
With the board's permission, I'd like to share my screen.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I think I hear background noise and that might be coming from Mr. Jeter's car.
Mr. Jeter, if that's in fact the case, if you could just ask whoever's in your space to remain silent, that would be helpful.
There's no one in my car.
You don't have radio or anything on?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you. I heard the same thing as a muffled voice. So if anyone's in a space that's you're not muted, please either silence the individuals or noise or mute yourself. Okay, please proceed, Mr. But we'll need to magnify that a bit. It's not readable. Make that larger. Yes, thank you. A bit more. Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you. Already. Good. Perfect.
Inspector Higgins, I'm showing you what's been marked City's Exhibit A. What is this document?
So notice of violation in order to correct.
And how is this document generated?
The inspector will come back to the office, issue the violations. Following day, it just prints out as a normal course of business.
Gotcha. What is the date of this notice of violation?
December 13th, 2022.
And just to clarify for the board, the highlights that are there were not in the original documents. They're there just to facilitate the presentation.
Okay.
And in the middle of the page, Inspector Higgins, what is the violation cited?
It's cited for an abandoned vehicle or a vehicle that's in disrepair in the rear.
And on the next page, who wrote this violation?
Inspector John McMonigal.
I'm now going to show you what's been marked City's Exhibit B. What does this photo depict?
The vehicle parked in the rear of 1121 North Street.
And what is shown in this photo that made L&I issue a violation notice?
You can see the rear tire, it's twisted off the axle there. And there's damage to the rear quarter panel.
And when was it?
If you, I want to say, if you zoom in on this picture, you can see it's being used as a storage container.
I will zoom in a little bit. In the back seat of the car you're talking about?
That's correct.
All right. And when was this photo taken?
December 12th, 2022 at 1:05 p.m.
Turning now to City's Exhibit C. When was this photo taken?
January 13th, 2023.
And in your estimation, does it show the car to be in the same condition as the previous photo?
Yes.
Great. Turning to City's Exhibit D. What is the date of this notice? Or first, what is this document?
This is the final notice that would be generated. It was dated January 14th, 2023.
And does it show the same violation previously cited?
Yes, sir.
Turning now to City's Exhibit E. Calling your attention to Section 6. What is this document?
It looks like the appeal to the Board of License and Inspections that was filed.
And if you could just read part of what's written in Section 6, the reason for the appeal.
The car is in his yard. The only reason it's there is waiting for a part. To a shop.
And does that seem to be acknowledgement that the car is inoperable in its current
Yes.
condition?
I'm sorry, yes.
And now turning to City's Exhibit F, I have a few more photos. What is the date of this photo?
December 15th, 2023.
And what does this photo depict?
It's the front end of the vehicle.
Is this a fair and accurate representation of the car at that time?
Yes.
I think there are a couple more photos in this exhibit.
Yes.
What does this photo show?
It's again the back end of the car which promulgated the violation, as well as actually it's clear that you can see it's being used as a storage container.
And this photo appears to be the rear tire again.
Mhm.
And this photo is the rear tire from a different angle.
Yes.
And then finally, a few more photos in City Exhibit G.
About that.
What is the date of this
You
photo?
never called.
February 13th, 2024.
That stuff's been out there since January 26th.
Okay, wait, just one moment. I'm not sure if it's the Mr. Higgins. Are there other individuals in your space who are having conversations?
Yes, give me a second. I'll walk into my conference room.
Yes.
I just don't want to lose connectivity.
All right.
Hold on for a second.
Mr. Logue, let's stay on that same photograph. So
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
yeah, we don't lose our
scrolling.
place.
All right.
All right, I still have connection.
Okay. All right, let's resume.
Sorry about that.
All right, Mr. Logue.
All right, so turning to the first photo in Exhibit G, what is the date of this photo?
February 13th, 2024.
And
Actually,
I'm sorry.
at 10:26 a.m.
Gotcha. Thank you. And as far as you can tell, has the rear tire changed position since the previous photos were taken?
No,
Oh, great. And is this the same vehicle from the front?
yes,
And I believe I neglected to highlight it in a previous photo, but what do you see in the front of the car here?
it's missing the grill.
All right, and that was missing during a previous inspection as well, right?
Yes,
Okay. And I don't think you can see into the windows here, but what does this photo depict?
part of the vehicle that's within his property lines. And some flat tires possibly.
I have no further questions for Inspector Higgins.
Okay. The appellant, Mr. Geter.
Yes.
Jeter, do you have any cross-examination questions of the inspector?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
My
what are your
car-
questions?
My car is not used as a storage container.
No, sir. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. If you have a question, you can make your case later. But for the moment, do you have any questions for the inspector?
Oh, okay, yeah. No, well, I don't really have any questions for him. No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Logue, any additional witnesses?
No, I don't have any more witnesses.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Mr. Jeter, your turn to put your case on. What would you like us to know?
Okay, for one, my car is not being used as a storage container. There are two car covers I have in the back seat of that car. And the reason my car is there, I purchased this car, it's been a few years, but I paid like $60,000 for this car. It was sitting in front of my house. A guy comes flying down the street, hits my car, hits my rear quarter panel, and my wheel is the reason it turned out that way. And the guy said he fell asleep or he was picking a phone up or something. Anyway, he didn't have insurance coverage. I did. So and to get the rest of the vehicle, the money for the repair, I had to take him to court. I took him to court, small claims court. They only awarded me up to $12,000 for the car to be prepared. The amount for the car to be repaired came to like $18,000 something. So I had to take it out of the body shop, and I had to put it in my yard until I raise up get the rest of the money to get it repaired. It needs a rear, and the grill needs to be replaced. There's no reason. The only reason the grill is out because he took the body shop took the grill out to make sure the radiator wasn't damaged. And the tires I inflated all my tires yesterday. Only one tire is inflated is the one that's turned out. All the other tires are inflated. And like I said, that's the only reason that my car is sitting there. Now, and, if I hadn't got sick, I had to go in the hospital, and I'm like, my income like kind of went down. So that I'm trying to raise the rest of the money myself. But I'm back at work. I'm at work right now.
Okay. Any cross-examination, Mr. Logue?
Yeah, just a couple of questions.
Okay.
Mr. Jeter, does the car currently work? Is it
Yeah,
operable?
the car starts fine.
But can it drive?
I can't move it because of the wheel. It needs a new axle, a new rear. So I ordered a new rear for it. Soon the rear is supposed to be coming in within the next 2 or 3 weeks. But the money I need to get it put in is the money I'm raising up now. But I
Sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, but I can have the car moved. But it's my property. It's on my property. I didn't think it was really bothering anybody.
The car's been inoperable since December of 2022, correct?
Yes, that's when I put it there, November of 22.
Understood. I have no further questions.
Anyone else have any questions?
Yes, I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So, Mr. Jeter, did you make an application to your insurance carrier when the car was struck?
Yes, I did.
And did you recover from your insurance carrier?
No, I didn't cover from my insurance carrier, from the other insurance company.
Okay, so you said you had to you took him to small claims court. Did you get 2 recoveries, one from court and one from your carrier or from the insurance carrier?
Yes,
And what was the total amount that you received?
$12,000.
You told us you got $12,000 from court. What did you receive from the insurance carrier?
The total was $12,000 from court, 7 from court, 5 from the insurance carrier.
Okay.
But this insurance, they only had minimal insurance. They wouldn't pay to get my car repaired.
And your insurance company would not provide you with any coverage and then subrogate against the other company?
No.
Thank you very much. No further questions.
Mr. Jeter, did you have full coverage on your car?
Not at that time, I didn't.
Oh, okay. What year and make and model is that vehicle?
2008 Cadillac STS.
Okay, it's a 2008 Cadillac STS. Okay.
Yeah.
And at the time of the accident was 2 years ago?
It was, yes. Well, no, that car was hit. It's been a little more than 2 years.
Okay. So at the time of the accident, you only had liability. You didn't have
Yeah, I only had liability insurance and coverage.
So both you and the other driver only had minimal coverages on your vehicles.
I don't know what he had, but
I mean, you said he had minimal coverage. That was your word.
yeah, that's all they would wanted to pay was $5,000. He had good to go insurance.
So you didn't have collision. You only had liability.
Yes, because my vehicle was paid for already.
Okay. All right. No collision, only liability. Okay.
Mr. Chair, just have one question.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jeter. One quick question. Is your car still inoperable and sitting on your property?
Yes.
No more questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay. But I guess the issue is whether or not the any portion of the rear of the property is, if it's all within the same property line. I guess that's one issue. Mr. Logue, was that an issue when the violation was written?
I don't think the
Okay.
notice highlighted the property line in any way.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Jeter, in your appeal, which was filed on over a year ago, it's dated 1/6/23, you said you were waiting for a new rear to come in. That was a year ago, over a year ago. And now if I heard you correctly, you said the part is now coming in, but you still don't have enough money available to pay for the repairs. So I
No,
guess, well,
go
wait,
ahead.
I haven't asked the question. The question is, what is it you're expecting to do with regard to this presently inoperable car? What do you expect to do, and what is your time frame in which you're going to do that?
But I'm waiting for the rear. I have the rear. The rear is I bought it at a junk shop up in King of Prussia. I didn't want to bring the rear down and put it in my yard because it would be more of a problem as it is with the car being there. So I have a guy that towed the car. I was waiting on to get a mechanic to get the car repaired. I have a shop. I have to get it towed to his shop and have the rear towed there, and I will get the car repaired. At my time frame, I would say I was looking at about another 2 months at the most. But like I said, I just came back to work, so it's hard. I'm trying to get the rest of the money up. It's like another $5,000 I had to save up. But the car only has 72,000 miles, and it might be old, but the car is in good condition. Other than that, and I want to repair.
Mr. Jeter, is your car currently with the current inspection?
No, there's no current inspection on it at the moment.
Do you have current tags on it at the moment?
Yes.
So the only thing that's not correct on it would be the inspection, but your tags is up to date.
Yes, sir.
With insurance.
Excuse me?
With insurance, with up to date insurance.
Yeah, well, I have the car insurance on my policy now. Yes.
You said on your policy now?
Yes.
Because
I had.
So it wasn't on your policy before?
I bought another vehicle.
So it wasn't on your policy before?
Yeah, it was on. Yeah, it was insured before. Yes.
But you took it off your policy now? I'm trying to understand what you just said. That you bought when you said you bought another vehicle.
I had a different policy at that time for that car. So in order to get my new tags, I had to get the car insured again. So we got the car insured. But since it's not, I keep it insured every day because I'm not driving the car.
I don't understand when you say you don't keep it insured every day. Any vehicle in the state of Pennsylvania have to have current insurance, right?
Yes, sir.
Whether you're driving it or not, right?
Yes.
Okay, no more questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mr. Geter, is that other vehicle in the photograph, that white vehicle, is that also not operable?
That car is operable.
And do you drive that one?
No, we do not drive it. It was my wife's father's car, and he died, and she keeps the car. But she's planning on getting it repaired also.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just one additional question.
Yes.
Please. Mr. Jeter, I believe you just testified that you bought another vehicle. Is that correct?
I had to buy another. I bought another vehicle.
Did you say that you bought another vehicle since the time of this accident?
No, not since I haven't bought another vehicle since the time of the accident. I have another vehicle is what I meant to say.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I apologize. I actually have one other question.
Okay.
Mr. Jeter, I apologize. You testified that you've been out of work for a period of time. Can you tell us when you became unable to work and when you returned to work?
I was out of work for about almost a year and a half because I had pneumonia. I was in the hospital for 6 months, 6 weeks rather. And when I came out, I had to get my health back in order before I could go back to work. I returned back to work in April of last year.
So you've been employed and working for not quite a year. Is that correct?
Well, about a year, just about a year. It's coming up.
All right. Thank you very much.
I guess I have one more question.
Anytime
Mr. Jeter, you indicated that the other car that's in the back of your house, the white car, that was your father-in-law's, that's not is that operable?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Does it have a license plate?
The car is not registered.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone
mean,
else
we-
have any questions? Wait a minute. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, what we will then now do, Mr. Jeter, you can share with us any final thoughts you have that would help us make a decision, after which we will ask Mr. Logue for final argument, and then we will vote. Okay, sir, any final statements you want to make for us?
Yes, we plan on getting all both of the cars in order. You know, my wife, like I said, my wife, she just went back to work. She works at the IRS. She said started back on January 13th. And she's getting the car put in her name from her father, but her father passed. She wanted to keep the car. My car, I'm gonna get it towed out of there and get it to the shop and get it more operable because I need it to drive around. And I understand it has to be operable and be stay parked in my yard.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Logue, any final argument?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I think the photos speak for themselves. And while I'm sympathetic to Mr. Jeter's financial situation, the car has been parked in that same spot and operable for over a year. And so I would ask for a city affirm. And before I forget, I also wanted to ask for exhibits A through G to be submitted into evidence.
Okay, thank you. So move for the documents. We will now call the boards to vote on HA-2023-000115, 1121 North Street, Reginald Jeter, City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Affirmed.
City affirmed.
Okay, unanimous vote, city affirmed. Mr. Jeter, that means that you've lost your appeal. Now, you may appeal our decision. If you want information as to how to do that, call the office. On that notice you received, there will be a decision notice. Call the office. They can give you information if you need in terms of appealing our decision. Thank you very much, sir, for your participation.
Okay, in the meantime, what do I do? Do I have to move the car?
Well, follow the notice, yes. I mean, the outcome of that, you need to move the car.
Okay,
Because
well,
it's in violation.
yes, sir.
Okay, have a good day, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, Mr. Wade, where are we?
It brings us to case 35. Hearing appeal ending 0797, 5209 Jefferson Street, Jarvin, Davenport.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Michelle Reinhardt for the City of Philadelphia.
Good afternoon, Ms. Reinhardt. And where's Jarvin Davenport? Jarvin Davenport. Anyone present representing the interests of 5209 Jefferson Street? Anyone present? Mr. Wade, was service made in this matter?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Ms. Reinhardt, what is your preference?
If we can just check to make sure that the phone number that called in is not Mr. Davenport.
What number is that? I don't see a number.
It looks like it is the very last on my list, 267-400-3311.
Okay, is that person muted?
It looks like it, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Wade, would you mind unmuting that individual?
I'm trying.
Brett tried to get one of you guys fired for and that's all to go out with.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, I think you may be in a noisy spot. So if you could mute yourself for the moment before. So if you can mute yourself, Mr. Gonzalez, for the moment.
Okay. Hey, guys.
Ms. Reiner, we're attempting to make contact with the appellant, so we'll see what happens.
If that's not their phone number or the phone number isn't responding, then I can move forward with the city's request. I just wanted to make sure that they had the opportunity if they were attempting to
Understood.
unmute.
Mr. Chair, that phone number seems to match the phone number on the appeal application.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Wade, hopefully we'll be able to give us some information
Hello, I'm
shortly.
here. I'm
Okay.
here. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
I can hear you. We need to see you as well.
I'll try.
And give us your name, please.
Jarvin Davenport,
Okay.
5209 Jefferson. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Davenport, we will please activate your video so we can see your face.
I'll try.
Okay, Mr. Wade, is any help you can give, assistance you can give Mr. Davenport?
I can't contact them on the phone.
Okay.
Phil,
Uh,
can you want to take them in a breakout
see
room?
me? No. Are you
Okay.
seeing me? No.
No, we aren't seeing you.
Okay, good. All right.
We are not seeing you.
Oh, you're not?
Okay, let's do this. I also have one matter to put before the board. So let's do this. Mr. Wade, if possible, we're going to take a 3-minute off the record for 3 minutes. I need to invite the board to go into executive session with me. And if you could see if you could resolve this connectivity matter, Mr. Wade, while we're doing that.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So is fully reconnected? With Mr. Davenport?
I don't see him and he's not in the waiting room.
Okay, let's do this. Let's move on to the next matter, Ms. Reinhardt, and we will come back if we can reconnect. Let's call the next matter.
Case number 41, hearing appeal ending 4823, 1923 South 70th Street, Devin Grievous.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Will Fernandez for the city of Philadelphia.
Afternoon. Anyone present representing 1923 South 70th Street? Devin Grievous. Devin Grievous.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, sir. If you would raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sir?
Place your hand down. Oh, you didn't say affirm or swear, which your
Yes, sir. I swear, so help my God.
all right, thank you. You place your hand down. Before we proceed though, sir, what is your relationship to this property on South 70th Street?
Yeah, 1921 South 70th Street. I rented.
1923 South 70th Street.
I am in 1921.
What is 1923?
1923 is a tin shop.
Okay. Mr. Fernandez, do we have the correct address here for the violation?
Yes, the violations were issued to 1923 South 70th Street, and a notice of violation was issued to Mr. Is it Mr. Greaves or Mr. Grievous?
Greaves.
Greaves. A notice of violation was issued to Mr. Greaves by name. The violations involve both property and tenant-specific violations, and there is a notice of intent to cease operations that Inspector Tolbert will confirm, I believe is still set to go forward.
But is that address significant though, or is he responsible for both?
By being named as a responsible party on the violation, Mr. Greaves is responsible for all of the violations listed under the case file ending in 46086.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Tauber, if you'd unmute so as you may be sworn. you raise your right hand, sir? Miss ma'am, Yolanda Talbot, do you
Yeah.
swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Fernandez, please proceed.
Mr. Chair, before we
Thank
go,
you.
go
Yeah.
further, I hate to interrupt.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
trying to understand, what am I here for? Because on the appeal, he's talking about gun crime violence.
Okay, that's what we will
And
ask
having
Mr.
the parents
Fernandez.
trying to I'm just trying to follow along.
Yeah,
And
what we
on
will
one
do.
it's got 1921, and on the other sheet it got 1923.
Okay, what we will ask both Mr. Fernandez and Mr. Greaves to do is to give a short opening to clarify the issues of the appeal, and I think that'll answer all. We all have the same question, Mr. Washington, so I think that's how we would do it. Mr. Fernandez, before you put your witness on, would you mind giving a short opening as to the core elements of this case, and then we're going to ask Mr. Greaves to do the same thing.
Yes,
Mr.
I'd be,
Mr. Chairman, I have
Yeah.
a preliminary question, if I
Yes.
may. Mr. Greaves said he operates the business. I just want to make sure, is this in your business in your individual name? Or do you operate as either a corporation, an LLC, or is this something you do individually?
An LLC.
Oh. Okay, is it violation in the LLC's name or the individual, Mr. Fernandez?
the violation is issued to Devin Greaves, and then under the Creek's Finest is listed as the first line of his address. I'm wondering if that's perhaps the LLC that Mr. Greaves is referencing. And then it has the subject address, 1923 South 70th Street.
Okay. All right. So the tenant in this matter is the LLC, Mr. Fernandez, we believe.
That I don't know. I don't have a copy of the lease agreement. But the cited party is Mr. Greaves by name. I have confirmed that the Creek's Finest LLC is registered in the state of Pennsylvania with 1921 South 70th Street as its listed address. So I do understand that that is an LLC. And so if the board determines that this violation, and if I may, I will share my screen so you can see what the notice of violation looks like.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so if
Thank
the
you.
board determines that the Creek's Finest, as cited here, is the LLC that I've confirmed does exist, then I wouldn't be opposed to continuing this to the next available hearing so that Mr. Greaves can obtain representation before this goes forward.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Greaves, because the LLC is involved, you need an attorney to represent you at these hearings.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're going to do, unless I hear legal argument from Mr. McSherry that differs, Mr. McSherry, any opposing argument in this?
No.
Okay, we're going to continue this matter to allow Mr. Greaves to acquire legal counsel. What's the status of the cease operations, Mr. Fernandez?
I'd ask Inspector.
Wait, Mr. Washington, let Mr. Fernandez respond real quick.
I would ask Ms. Tolbert to confirm, Inspector Tolbert to confirm, but my understanding is that it is still set to move forward once the appeal is adjudicated. I will also say, while I have a moment, that the violations at issue here, there's fire code violations involving a commercial/industrial use, tires not being kept orderly, no smoking signs, aisle space not being maintained between stacks of tires, doors being bolted when they shouldn't be, things of that nature. And so I would urge the board to, whatever extent is possible, to expedite this being relisted and to let Mr. Greaves know that he needs to have counsel before the next hearing so that the city can go forward here, or he would be at risk of having his appeal dismissed.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Greaves, we have to do that right away. The other matter, sir, whoever you hire as an attorney, they need to clarify your appeal and be prepared to state a defense that's related to the violations, not other matters like gun violence and stuff like that. We need to make sure there's clarity so we can understand what your defense is for the violations. Understood?
Okay.
Mr. Washington, you had something else you wanted to add?
Yes, sir. I'm looking at this notice of intent to cease operations in order
Yes.
with L&I file number C Charlie F Frank 2023046086, and responsible party is occupant. The address is 1923 South 70th Street. My question is who is the Kiba Harris A and the two folks is listed as owners.
Yes,
Which is also the date listed 11/15/23.
I think I can clarify that. So the notice of violation was initially issued in May of 2023. It was issued to both the owners of the property, those two individuals you just named, and to Mr. Greaves, aka the Creek's Finest LLC, as an occupant. Upon reinspection in November, several months later, the decision was made to go forward with a cease operations. And so at that point, the notice of intent to cease operations that you just read, Board Member Washington, was issued. I don't know why Mr. Greaves' name did not appear as the responsible party on that notice of intent to cease operations in order. But the name is listed on the associated notice of violation. But I can see why that created some confusion.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
227? That. It's an
No,
emergency.
Yes,
Does that
227.
date- Does that date work?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, Mr. Greaves has to get a lawyer, so he has to get a lawyer quickly. If we listed 227, given the nature of the problem and the potential hazards involved, Mr. Greaves, you need a lawyer like today, this week, in order to be prepared for the 27th, because we will not continue this if the attorney shows up that day and says that he hasn't been your attorney long enough. Understood?
Okay, sir.
And,
All right.
and Mr. Chairman, as Mr. Fernandez has read, the first violation notice was issued in May of 2023. So it isn't a matter that is of recent vintage. This, whether Mr. Greaves knew about it in May, I don't know, but apparently the violations have existed at this property for some time.
Okay, thank you. They'll let the record reflect that we will continue this matter to permit Mr. Greaves the opportunity to acquire legal counsel. Thank you. And the next date is 227, Mr. Ward, Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Okay, 227/24. Thank you.
Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you. Okay, let's go back to our next matter.
Recalling case 35, hearing appeal ending 0797, 5209 Jefferson Street, Jarvin, Davenport.
Okay, is this Mr. Jarvin Davenport present?
President,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, and I
Okay.
think we can see you.
Yeah, okay.
You just raise your right hand, sir, so that you may be sworn.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty. Who's representing the city? I think that's Ms. Reinhardt.
Good afternoon, yes. And the city's witness is going to be Inspector Gerardo Gonzalez.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. You can place your hand down. Okay, Ms. Reinhardt.
Thank you. This is a matter of a vacant property that was cited for lack of a vacant property license and failure to maintain a vacant property. Inspector Gonzalez inspected the property as recently as this morning. You will see the photographs with the snow already coming down in order to show how recent the update was and the most recent water bill. I'm not sure if you wanted to take a brief opening statement from Mr. Davenport as well before we dive into.
No, just dive in. Let's just dive in.
Okay. Inspector, can you please introduce yourself to the board?
Yes, my name is Gerardo Gonzalez, Department of Licenses and Inspections, Code Enforcement Inspector.
And what do you do in that role?
I work for the vacant property unit.
What do you do for the vacant property unit specifically?
I inspect vacant properties for windows, doors, and trash and other issues, exterior structure issues.
Okay, I'm going to show, and how long have you been in this, how long have you been an inspector?
30 years.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen with what has been previously marked City Exhibit A. Are you able to see this on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. First, this is the notice of violation and order to correct, dated January 25th, 2023. Are you able to see this
Yes.
and read it?
Yes.
Okay. This was addressed to Mr. Davenport at 5209 Jefferson. I'm going to scroll down partway through the page. Can you please outline what it is that you found at the property?
Well, those are the vacant standards, violations that we write up, that PM 15301 for the vacant property, keep it maintained. There was some stuff on the porch. Looks like it was all straightened out and clean. And the last one would be the vacant license.
Okay. I am scrolling down. This is a photograph taken by label on January 24th, 2023. Did you take this photograph?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And it is the front of the property?
Yes.
Okay. And does it depict some of the items that you indicated were on the porch?
Yes.
I'm scrolling down to City Exhibit B. This is a water bill for the property, bill date January 30th, 2024. Did you obtain this from the water department?
We have a person in the city where they can look into the water department to get us these bills.
Okay. I'm actually going to scroll down a little bit to approximately, it's toward the bottom, under a box that says your water usage.
Yes.
It appears that, okay, that was going to be my next question. And in the blue box under where it says the actual readings, fair to say it says that there were approximately 0 gallons of water used per day?
Yes.
Okay. When you reached out to your contact to obtain this water bill, did they give any further details about what they saw of the water usage for this property?
They claim that the usage, that the water's been shut off since 2011, and there's been usage here and there, but nothing to show on the bill.
Okay. I'm moving to City Exhibit C, and am zooming out to view it properly. This is a photograph of the front of the building. It is dated this morning. It looks like 8:30 a.m. Did you take this photograph?
Yes.
So you were there this morning specifically?
Yes.
What did you find?
They cleaned up the porch a bit. They put a couple chairs up there, I guess, to make it look like somebody's living there. But I knocked on the door. There was no answer. I also went through the side alley, but they put a chain on the back gate.
Okay, I am,
Yeah.
oops, scrolling out way too far. Is this the back alley gate that you were just referencing?
Yes.
Okay. For the record, this is the second photograph in Exhibit C.
Okay, thank you.
And Inspector, is a property habitable if there's no water?
No.
I have no further questions.
Okay, Mr. Davenport, do you have any questions of the inspector?
No, he doesn't have the full picture, but no.
Okay, you can present your case in a moment, but
Oh,
you don't have any questions then. Ms. Reinhardt, do you have any other witnesses?
No further witnesses.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Davenport, your opportunity to tell us what's happening at that address.
As far as the gate in the alleyway, that is not my gate. The apartment building next to me put that gate up there. I appreciated that it cuts down on the foot traffic from people doing drugs and urinating in the alleyway, whatnot. But that is not my gate.
Okay.
I don't have access to the gate. I didn't put a padlock on the gate. It stops me from using my back gate to take trash out. because I have to bring everything out through the door, through the front door. So, but that is not my gate.
Okay. Well, what is your
Uh,
defense regarding the violation notices?
I used to travel quite a bit. I used to be away for months at a time at my job. I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want any tenants. So I don't, I'm just away a lot. Other than that,
Well, the question though is the property vacant?
no, it is not. I'm standing right here. I'm here.
But you said your response though was a little confusing. You indicate that you're away a lot, so you reside in the property?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And my mother, who lives nearby, was elderly. I took off a year and a half from work to take care of her until she passed in June of 22. And ever since then, I've been back. Now, as far as usage, I can go back and forth other places and use water. And I use minimal water here. The water is not shut off. I get a bill every month.
Okay. Do you sleep in that location?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. Miss Reinhardt, do you have any cross-examination questions for Mr. Davenport?
I do not.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Davenport?
I do. Mr. Davenport, do you have, you said the water has not been shut off? And
No, it's not.
You use the facilities in the house, the bathroom, the toilets, the sink, kitchen sink?
Yes, I do.
How can you explain?
I go to gyms. I use the facilities there. Where else do people go to the bathroom? Go to the bathroom at work. You go to the bathroom.
Well, I'm not
shopping, you
worried
know?
about your bathroom habits. I'm more
Yes,
concerned just
yes.
about trying to demonstrate that the utilities, and how do you heat the house? Do you have gas or electric service as
I have
well?
electric. I have water. My lights are on. I don't know what else
Okay.
to tell you. Mhm.
No. I just wanted you to, you're saying you live there and you're saying, I wanted to confirm that your utilities are available to the property as
Yes,
well.
I get bills. I get bills every month like everybody else. Yes.
And you pay them.
Yes, I'm all paid up. My
Okay.
property taxes, I got a notice from property tax that I overpaid my property tax. So I don't.
Mr.
Chair, I have a
Davenport?
question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Mr. Davenport.
Yes.
You testified that you do live at the property, and it sounds like if, and I don't want to be out of context, you use your bathroom facilities, but not as often as someone would. But just flushing the toilet on an occasion generates about 3 liters per flush of water, which would generate something on the water bill. Your water bill is showing 0 usage.
Well, I don't know how much water is in the tank. I don't know. But like I said, I'm away a lot. I don't want to rent my house out. I don't want tenants. So I didn't know. I had no idea it was considered vacant until recently.
Well, my question is in reference to the flushing of the toilet and 3 liters of water per flush. Even if it's once a day for every 2 weeks, it's going to generate that usage on your bill. Your bill does not show any usage.
But I don't know how that is. I don't know.
Do you have any?
I don't have a response to that. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Do you
right,
have any
thank
heat
you.
bills available? What's your heat?
No, I don't have a bill handy.
Okay. And how long have you lived in that address?
Since the 90s.
Okay. What's your residence on your driver's license?
5209 West Jefferson Street.
Okay.
All my
And
mail comes here.
your voting, what voting address do you use?
5209 West Jefferson Street.
Okay. Now, did you have a conversation with the inspector after you received the violation notice?
No, I haven't personally spoken with anyone.
Okay. What's your mailing address?
5209 West Jefferson Street.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have anything?
Were you in the house this morning? Because the inspector said he went there and knocked on the door.
I get home from work like 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's possible he was there and I just was asleep.
Thank you.
Mr. Davenport, if I may ask, What is your line of employment currently?
I work at a pharmaceutical company out in Conshohocken.
Thank you. Do
All
you
right.
know the name of it?
It's called Sharp Farm.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have anything? Okay. If not, this is case number 35. Mr. Davenport or Ms. Reinhardt, any final argument? Before we vote?
I would just like to say that I think that the evidence speaks for itself, that 0 gallons in water usage over the period of 1 month with actual readings, combined with 0 readings over the course of the last year, indicates that there is no one living at the property. And Inspector Gonzalez did the inspection this morning at a time that people are more likely than not to be home. And in this situation, no one answered the door. And he found that the property was vacant on the prior inspections as well, meaning that there was no one there for those inspections either. So I submit that the record stands for itself and request to be affirmed.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Davenport, anything you want to say before we vote?
Other than I'm here, I don't know what else to say. No.
Okay, thank you. Sir, you saying that's in you. Would you mind just giving us a panoramic view of that room that you're in? I'm curious.
It's got a lot of my travel. This is like a work room. I do art also.
Okay,
So okay.
all right. Just want to get a sense of the space you're in.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. We will now poll the board on HA 2023-000797, 5209 Jefferson Street, Jarvin, Davenport. Appeal sustained.
Sorry, appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
I'm going to abstain from a vote, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Appeal sustained.
thank you. Alrighty, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 appeals sustained and 1 abstention. Mr. Davenport, you won your appeal.
Thank you, sir.
All right, have a good afternoon. Thank you everyone for participating. Mr. Gonzalez, thank you, and you excuse for the afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reinhardt. Unless you have other business, you excuse.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Wade, do we have any other matters before the board today?
No, we don't.
Okay, thank you, everyone. That concludes our business for today. Court reporter, we're off the record. Thank you so much.
Ms. Penn,
Thank you, members of the board.
yeah,
Okay, have a good afternoon.
Ms. Penn, I said I'd given you a phone call a couple of weeks ago. If you're not busy, right after we're done here, can we have a quick call? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, if we
Good
don't have any
afternoon,
other
everyone.
business, I'm going to sign off unless someone